So, hello everybody. Oh, it's the new year now, 2025. What is to be, what are we to expect this year? Will Jesus return? I think not. I think we have a bit longer to go, but we're getting close. But this particular video is a response to a man called Dr. Kennedy. He calls himself a doctor, and it's called Tell Me, Dr. K. Dr. K tackles tough theological questions. So it all sounds very neutral, doesn't it? Here's a picture of him, actually. Here we are. There, well, that's the website. And have you noticed the videos on there? Because, you see, I noticed, look, why tens of thousands of Jehovah's Witnesses have left 2024. Enormous JW wealth. Jehovah's Witness dying within. Now, I just keep a check on what's coming up on YouTube, and I suddenly saw over this Christmas period, last 3 weeks or so, nearly 20 new videos from these people. So I asked myself, well, who are they? You know, because if you're, I don't know, one of Jehovah's Witnesses and you're feeling a little bit weak, and Christmas isn't the most encouraging time for Jehovah's Witnesses because we're unpopular, because we don't join everybody in the celebrations. You could be feeling a little bit down, and you've suddenly got dozens of YouTube channels very effectively done. I've noticed that this is a professional presentation, rather like JW.org is a professional presentation. They've got good lighting, they've got good sound, they've got good backdrops. They've obviously been planning these videos for some time. It's a new channel. It's only been in operation since April 2024. And I thought to myself, well, who are they? Who is this? Because it doesn't even sound religious. When I scrolled down, I noticed that the videos, there's like 95% or 90% of the videos are all about kind of hate messages against Jehovah's Witnesses. Of course, they're helping everybody, aren't they? You know, they're helping them realise what an evil, wicked cult it is. So 90% of all the videos. So it's very pointed. There's some videos about the Catholic Church criticising them, more gently, but it's criticising them. So I assumed that it had to be something Protestant. Now, as I searched through this wonderful website, very cleverly done, I'm very jealous because they've got a nice little studio. They've obviously got sound people. They've got the backdrops. They've got some special effects, which I would like to be able to do, but I need someone to help me. So if you live in the East Anglia area of Britain, contact me if you'd like to help me. If you're perhaps younger and a bit more astute with all the effects, things that you need when you're doing a YouTube channel, filming, etc., then that would be incredibly welcome. If you have any suggestions, please leave them in the comments, because I know you're going to say, well, your sound could be better, your picture quality, etc. Anyway, so I asked myself, well, what is this? Who are these people? After a little careful search, I've discovered who they are, and I'm going to address their criticisms. I'll address one on this video, but they are, in fact, a social network of new believers, including friends and close acquaintances. Research has shown that new converts often sharing their faith with people they already have established relationships with. Because it's been discovered that less than 24% of people who attend Protestant churches have any interest in talking to others about their faith. They certainly don't proselytise like Jehovah's Witnesses do. So that's why I asked myself, are they attacking Jehovah's Witnesses? Because you'd think if you're proselytizing, you're preaching the good news like Jesus did amongst his friends, his relatives, and then the wider general public. If that's what Jesus did, and if that's what he wanted his apostles to do, then this kind of training is meant to help people within the churches. So this is a small organisation that trains and assists people, pastors, to preach the good news in a way Jesus would do it. And of course they look up when they're coming out of a railway station, anywhere in the Western world, anywhere in most of the world, and they'll see those Jehovah's Witnesses standing by their carts. And then they'll have people knocking on their door. They'll have people knocking on their businesses. They'll have people while they're queuing up at the supermarket or store being witnessed to by those awful Jehovah's Witnesses, or millions of people are receiving letters from those Jehovah's Witnesses. So their response, let's sort Jehovah's Witnesses out. Let's crush them. Let's discourage their members. Let's, as it says there, they're all leaving, you see. So I'm going to address that in the next a few series of videos. Number of their criticisms, I'm going to address those. But basically, that's what this group is doing. Now they've got, I think they're often repeating things that have already been said by Christian pastors. You know, I've criticised Christian pastors on this channel and its sister channel, GGAZ, saying that they're misleading people, they're providing inaccurate information about Jehovah's Witnesses, and then they're criticising it. But at least someone who's called Pastor so-and-so, he's at least acknowledging who he is. And there's a video channel called Catholic Truth. Now I've criticised that as well, because it's presented Jehovah's Witnesses and it's providing kind of half-truths, and then it's lies. And this is exactly the same with this channel, but at least Catholic Truth, you can see they're honestly saying who they are. This particular group, this channel, is hiding. They're hiding, trying to present themselves rather like Jordan Peterson, you know, a doctor, you know, someone who's qualified, recognised in the world, just helping people, giving news. Whereas they're not. They're being deceitful. They're not actually telling us who they are, unless you do a diligent search to find out who they are. And they're the people really behind all the Protestant pastors, and training and assisting them in preaching the good news. But sadly they're not, are they? You'll occasionally see a Christian from a church handing out a few little leaflets in a town, not like Jehovah's Witnesses. So there's an interesting contrast. Now, one of their criticisms, I'm going to deal with one, and then you'll have to refer to future videos where I address the others. It says that tens of thousands are leaving Jehovah's Witnesses in 2024, a lot of them young people. It's true. Tens of thousands have left in 2024. And they have been leaving progressively, going backwards. Less so in the 1970s to 2000. There was more coming in. There was a larger increase in worldwide growth of Jehovah's Witnesses in those years. But since the year 2000 and onwards, and COVID especially, there's been a reduction in increase of numbers of Jehovah's Witnesses. Down to about 0.4% increase, which is lower than we would like as Jehovah's Witnesses. So the question is, are young people leaving, and are the congregations of Jehovah's Witnesses just disappearing? Are we rotting from within? Well, I'm one of Jehovah's Witnesses, and I've been going to the meetings since 1972. So I've seen the fervour of Kingdom Halls full of people. I've seen the expansion. Today there are empty seats. It's true, there are empty seats. But when you count up all the figures, you'll find that there's a lot of those third of seats that are empty in lots of kingdom halls. They're actually those people on Zoom. And yes, a greater number of young people have been leaving than the older people, but that has always been the case. There are people coming in to replace them. The statistics say that 65% of all Jehovah's Witnesses, adult Jehovah's Witnesses in America are converts. They have come from outside, from other religions, etc. So, as one of Jehovah's Witnesses myself, the last time I saw our Kingdom Hall full was at the beginning of December. We had what is called a circuit overseer visit. In fact, there's been a couple of videos I've made on that. What the circuit overseer does, he comes round, he's a visiting minister, like Paul was, St. Paul. He comes round and encourages the congregations. When he turns up, the congregation is stacked out. You have trouble finding a seat. So there are times when our kingdom halls are full, and not only that, you'll have a load of people on Zoom watching as well, because Jehovah's Witnesses really used the Zoom facility since COVID-19, and it's really helped the elderly ones or anyone who's slightly poorly to enjoy the meetings and to be involved, because they can online push a button and their hand goes up and they can make an answer. They can answer up, they could read the Bible, they can even do little talks and demonstrations through the Zoom facilities. It's just transferred and put on the televisions at the front of the Kingdom Hall. So I don't see a reduction. I do see that people have fallen away. They have been falling away, and there will always be some who fall away. Tens of thousands every year will be. So those figures are true. But the consequences of the figures, this is where there's a mixture of the truth, or the half-truth, and the lie. The inference is that they're all whittling away and Jehovah's Witnesses organisation's going to crash. Now, there's lots of pastors and people opposed to Jehovah's Witnesses who've been saying that for years, but this group is saying it really well. It's just not true. From those on the inside, it's not true. And if you're one of Jehovah's Witnesses and you've watched these videos, tune into mine, especially my ones responding to this, because I shall make sure you get to the meetings. Make sure you watch the material on JW.org and the broadcasts, because it's not very fair someone picking out snippets of broadcasts and then using that as a means to criticise our dear brothers who work really hard. Anyway, the next one I'm going to address is, well, it's two issues I'm going to address on the next video. One is that we make lots of money, and so it's all money orientated, and so new truths are not really genuine new truths. They're just some kind of compromise. So that's the next video, what I'm going to deal with regards to these peoples, because they're conspiring to mislead. And they seem to think that preaching the good news is attacking Jehovah's Witnesses. I don't remember that being what Jesus did. He didn't preach the good news, make disciples to attack other religions. Yes, he had confrontations with the scribes and Pharisees, the Jewish national religion. Yes, he had confrontations with them, only because they started being nasty to him, and they were the ones responsible for his death. So, thank you very much for taking notice. We have lots to look forward to, although circumstances and conditions in the world are going to get worse. Jesus did prophesy that. And so the attacks upon Jehovah's Witnesses will intensify. And this particular group, this particular teaching group, is the latest one. So thank you and take care. I'm rubbing my hands slightly because it's a bit chilly still in Britain. It's January. Take care. Please subscribe.